And so there's no big fat manual. No one's ever written a Picnic for Dummies book. So it's more not necessarily for males specifically, but it does have a little bit of a different bend. So the UI and the user interface is very light and fun, and we really do call it phototainment because it's that type of thing. So I don't know if that answered your question specifically, but it wasn't. We did not build Picnic for moms, but moms love it, and that's fantastic, and I'll take it. But dads love it too, because I just think it really came from a little bit of a different mindset.
I think an engineering characteristic, and speaking as a former engineer, is to try and design for every scenario and get a little bit too much into edge cases, which add complexity to the project. And so the core is, what are the core use scenarios, and how do you keep that super simple and resist the urge to be able, for a broad, and I'm talking for a breadth market, not for an enthusiast or a hobbyist who obviously will spend hours, but to really design well, as you're talking, for the simple core needs of the consumer and not for themselves.
Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the reasons why this panel was done for moms as memory keepers is because it is a traditional role that women take on, and it doesn't mean that dads can't or don't want to or don't love their kids as much. I think we would all agree on that one. Are there any other questions? And over in the back.
I'm curious, this revenue model was the best long term. The hardware, the possibility for advertising for, which one wins, a hybrid,
Well, I'm not an economist, so I guess I guess people can take a look at it and say where they're seeing their revenue coming from.
It's definitely something that our company has been focused on. We have been publishing the print shop for many years, and it's actually been around for 25 years. And in that time, it's always been a purchase once and use forever solution. But as we see some of these online solutions, definitely starting to make sense, and the technology online is getting better. Figuring out a business model that works is going to be important because you can't just pay once and use something on the web forever. And people who make projects like business cards and stationery don't expect to pay a subscription model either. So it's definitely something that we're trying to figure out, and there's lots of models out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll observe what we see in our business. The interesting thing for me about our business is while what the consumer thinks they're buying is a wireless memory card, what's really important about our experience is all this fancy back-end stuff that we've got sitting in the cloud that actually helps this card do the magic things that it does. That said, and I think this is similar to the example that was given about Kindle. You could also maybe say it's similar to GPS. What the consumer believes they're buying, what they want to put down their $50 for or $100 for, is a device, a physical kind of thing. I think it's the way consumers shop. So for us, when we think about the relative value of our product, most of the value is actually in this back-end service that we provide. But what the consumer values, what they think they're buying, is not the service, they're buying the product. And I think even though, despite mobile phones have tried to monetize services where you're paying a few bucks a month for a variety of things, I still think for the vast majority of busy moms and mainstream consumers all over the U.S. and all over the world too, for that matter, buying a product is still the natural thing to do, even if that's imbued with service-enabled value.
Mm-hmm. I think we have time for one more question if somebody else had a question.
Well, I would like to say, though, that Picnic, I guess, would buck the trend if that is the case. We do not have a thing that you can purchase, and we are growing at a phenomenal clip. Not only from users, but also subscribers. We are subscription-based. We have a freemium model, so we are ad-supported, but we also are having very good success on our revenue model when we do have that subscription model as well. So I think it maybe just depends on the product and the user base that you're reaching.
And their life stage. So building on what Lisa said, if you provide flexibility, for example, we know and we see if you're under 30, you're paying for broadband, or maybe your parents are paying for broadband if you're 22, and that's really what you're paying for. And so the ad model works really well for you. They're big on using online services free. But moms, once you have children and you pass through that stage and they get a little bit older, are very willing to pay because they're willing to pay that premium not to have ads and to be able to print and burn to DVD and do additional features. They're willing to buy frames and hard goods. So I think there is a correlation with your life stage and your disposable income too.
Okay, great. I think that we're out of time, so I just want to thank our panelists again. We have Jeff Polov, we have Lisa Cockergood, we have Jennifer Smizik, we have Susan Wright, Jerry Beauregard, and Neil Yarian. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.